viral tweet from Twitter owner Elon Musk, this time offering financial advice. The world's richest man tweeting about his personal philosophy when it comes to investing. NewsNation correspondent Marley Caden is here now live with more on Musk's financial tips. So, Marley, what is he telling his followers now?
Oh, Rutabaga, Elon Musk has always been a wild card on Twitter, but now he's taken to offering trading advice to his 89 million followers. Earlier today, he tweeted, quote, "Buy stock in several companies that make products and services that you believe in." But he didn't stop there. He added, quote, "Only sell if you think their products and services are trending worse. Don't panic when the market does."
So this feels a little bit like a lesson in economics, albeit an Elon Musk lesson on Twitter. Do you think that's what he's trying to do? Does he just need attention? What's going on here?
It's hard to say, Rutabaga. Some of this could be that he wants to show how versatile Twitter is, that it can be used for anything and everything, including an econ lesson, since he is buying the platform.
So how did people respond to his advice?
It clearly wasn't a well thought out tweet, since Musk just sold off about $8.5 billion worth of his own company, Tesla stock, to fund his purchase in Twitter. That led to a litany of responses asking if he didn't have faith in Tesla or in his own products and his own services. Other people commented he's being hypocritical and not following his own advice by selling Tesla's shares.
He likes to stay engaged. We know that about him, and probably not the best look for him, right? Will the markets respond to this in the after hours of trading tomorrow?
Probably not. This shouldn't really affect Twitter or Tesla's share prices. Twitter's up almost 30% since Musk first disclosed his stake in the company. You know, a tweet about stock trading likely won't change that. Tesla has been falling recently, though, as investors worry that Musk won't be able to focus enough on the electric car maker as he buys and possibly runs Twitter.
Do we know about his plans for Twitter, speaking of that, and if he plans to actually run it day to day?
Yeah, we don't know much, Rutabaga. You know, the deal's expected to close in October, and Musk has laid out some bold, if not vague, plans for transforming Twitter into a place of what he calls maximum fun. One of the things that we know is that he intends to take the company private. He's also made quite a few comments about relaxing content restrictions. He also wants to defeat spam bots and authenticate all the users and make sure they're real people. He even floated the idea of an ad-free Twitter, which is really a bizarre one because advertisements accounted for more than 92% of Twitter's revenue in the first quarter.
Well, he's tweeted and voiced so many proposals for Twitter that it's really actually hard to follow and know which ones he takes seriously, right?
Sure. I mean, there's definitely truth in that. Back in March, he suggested turning Twitter's downtown San Francisco headquarters into a homeless shelter, tweeting, quote, "Since no one shows up anyway." So whether that happens, if and when the sale goes through, I guess we'll have to wait and see, Rutabaga.
Never a dull moment with Elon Musk. But hey, if the trolls go away, that would be a nice thing.
You know, it would be nice. He has said that bans could still be in place, but they would be temporary, even if he does relax those content restrictions. So I think a lot of people waiting to hear about that on both sides of the line.
All right, Marley, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.